Let's talk about something most women feel, but don't always say out loud. The 6-month shift. Yeah, that point where everything should be getting deeper, but instead, something starts to feel off. In the beginning, it's effortless. You're laughing more, texting all day, staying up late talking about nothing and everything. It feels like momentum, like this is actually going somewhere. And then, month 4 hits, then 5, and suddenly nothing is wrong, but nothing is really moving either. It's like sitting in a car with the engine running. You hear the sound, you feel the vibration, but you're not actually going anywhere. And here's the part most women don't realize. By the time you hit 6 months, he already knows where you stand in his life. Not maybe, not still figuring it out. He knows. He's already placed you into one of 2 categories: the woman he sees long-term, or the woman he enjoys for the moment or for the time being. And here's the truth that stings a little. He can keep you in that second category for a very long time, if you let him. You'll get the dates, the affection, the attention, but without any real intention behind it. Not because he's confused. No, he's comfortable. So if you don't want to wake up one day realizing you've been emotionally invested in something that was never going to grow, you need to start taking notes for real movement. Not just words, not vibes, not potential. Actions. So let's start with the first one, because this one tells you everything. There comes a point where a man who is serious about you stops keeping you separate from his life. In the beginning, it's just the 2 of you. Easy, controlled, private. Anyone can look like a great partner inside a bubble. But around that 3 to 5 month mark, that's when things should start blending more. Not surface level introductions, not random encounters. I'm talking about his real world. The people who matter to him, his close friends, his family, the people whose opinions he actually respects. Because here's what nobody tells you. When a man brings you into that space, he's not just introducing you, he's endorsing you. He's saying, without saying it, this is someone important to me. And that's not something men do casually. So if months have passed and you still feel like you only exist in your own little bubble with him, no real connections to his world, no deeper integration, then you need to ask yourself something honestly. Are you part of his life or just a part of his routine? Because those are not the same thing, not even close. Now, let's talk about something even more subtle, and it's the way he talks about the future. Listen carefully to this, because this is where a lot of women get misled. Men who aren't serious love vague promises. Someday, we should. One day we'll. Sounds nice, right? Yeah, it's supposed to. But vague language doesn't require commitment. It just keeps you hopeful. A man who is serious, though, he speaks differently. Not fantasy, structure. Not someday, specifics. He'll say things like, "There's a wedding in November, I want you there with me." Or, "I know your lease is ending soon, we should start thinking about what that looks like for us." Do you see the difference? One keeps you in the present, the other includes you in his future. And that shift, though, that's not random, that's intentional. Because when a man sees you long-term, he doesn't just enjoy your presence, he starts planning around it. And here's something you need to hear clearly. If a man is making major life decisions, career moves, relocation plans, big financial choices, and you're nowhere in those conversations, you're not in his future. You're in his present. And those are 2 very different positions. And listen, this isn't about rushing anything. It's about direction. Because a man who sees you long-term doesn't get nervous about the future. He builds it with you in mind. And if he doesn't, he's not confused. He just doesn't see you fit for that role. But take a breath, because I'm about to go even deeper. We're talking about what happens when the mask drops and the one behavior that quietly exposes whether he's truly invested or just maintaining comfort. Because this is where things get real. So you'll notice that in the early stages, everyone is on their best behavior. polished, controlled, impressive. It's easy to show up perfectly for a short period. But over time, though, that version fades. It has to. And when it does, you start seeing the real person, not the curated version, the human one. Here's what matters. A man who is serious about you will start letting you see the parts of himself that aren't perfect. Did you hear that? I said, a man who is serious about you will start letting you see the parts of himself that aren't perfect. Not dramatically, not all at once, but gradually. He'll come clean and sincere. His stress, his frustrations, his quiet moments, the side of him that isn't trying to impress you, just being real with you. And right there, though, that's trust. Because men are not naturally taught to open up like that. So when he does, it's not weakness, it's emotional investment. He's saying without saying it, I feel safe enough with you to be seen. But if months go by and he still feels distant, controlled, emotionally unavailable, always fine, always composed, then you're not getting the real him. You're getting a version he's comfortable maintaining. And that's not intimacy. That's distance, dressed up as stability. Now, let's talk about something most people avoid. It's called effort. Not just effort in words, but effort in resources. Time, energy, attention. A man who values you invests in you. Not occasionally, not when it's convenient, consistently. He shows up. He remembers things that matter to you. He checks in when you're going through something. He makes time even when he's busy. Because here's the truth. Men naturally protect and invest in what they value. They don't hesitate. They don't calculate every move. They just do it. So if you're constantly feeling like you're the one adjusting, initiating, maintaining the connection, that's not a timing issue. That's a priority issue. And now, let's get to one more thing that changes everything. It's called clarity. At some point, usually before that 6-month mark, there should be no confusion about what you are to each other. None. Not, we're kinda seeing where it goes. Not, we're exclusive but no label. No. Clear, defined, understood. Because a man who truly values you doesn't leave room for competition. He doesn't gamble with your availability. He locks in. Not out of pressure, but out of certainty. And if he hasn't, if he's still hesitating, delaying, avoiding the conversation, then here's what you need to understand. That's not caution. That's choice. He's choosing to keep things undefined because it benefits him. And yes, that's hard to hear, but it's better than wasting another 6 months hoping something changes. So, what do you do with all of this? You stop guessing and you start observing. Look at the reality of what's happening, not what you hope is happening. Is he integrating you into his life? Is he speaking about a real future with you? Is he opening up, investing, showing consistency? Is the relationship clearly defined? If too many of those answers are no, then the answer is already in front of you. And here's the part that matters most. You have to decide whether you're willing to keep waiting or strong enough to walk away. Because the most powerful thing a woman can have is a point where her self-respect becomes louder than her feelings. And when you reach that point, everything changes. You stop accepting confusion. You stop tolerating half effort. You stop settling for almost. And you start choosing yourself. So let me ask you something. Be honest with yourself. Not with me, with you. Are you in something that's growing or something that's just continuing? Because those two things feel similar in the beginning, but they lead to very different endings. If this hit you, if you felt seen at any point while listening to this, I want you to share with someone dear to you. And drop a comment below and tell me, what's one sign you ignored that you now later realized mattered? Your story might be exactly what another woman needs to hear today to gain clarity.
And if you're ready to stop guessing and start understanding how men actually think, make sure you stay connected. This is Love Breed, and around here, in everything we do, we let love breed.